Hey Talents. So after in the last tutorial I talked about variables and if statements, I wanted to show you how we can actually do something interesting using if and if statements and variables, and actually using just one variable to do something quite interesting. Okay, one value which will be equivalent to the speed we used. Okay, so I have here a square, and I actually call it moving box. And moving box has already the script, and you see we have a moving square factor, I called it. Let me change it. Okay, let's call it just, I'll call it fact in short. And as you can see, we still haven't used it. What we did, it started using, I put it x and y, and I put the value for y of 4. And I use here the handle movement function I created to change the transform the CUDA position to be in the x and y position. And I called from update, so this is happening every frame. So if we go back to Unity, I'll put the game here so I can see both what can be seen from the camera and the whole scene. And even if I run it now, we can see that the moving box has jumped to 0 and 4 like we expected. And also, let me show you, if I take it here, I can't actually move it, okay? Because it keeps it on 4, but if I'll pause it for a second and I move it down here, the minute I'll continue playing the game, it goes back here because each frame it goes to the x and y. So if we want to move it, we've seen this before, we can use the factor, or you can think of it really as a speed for now. Okay, but we can change it, so we can do just y plus equal factor. Now the factor is not, it still don't have a value, right? You can see here that it's unchanged, and here we didn't give it any value, so by default it will be 0. So because this is a serial field, we can see it here. And we can change the value, and I'll do something like this. Okay, I'll put 4 for now, and I want to change it according to, because this is not on update, I want to change it using the time delta time we talked about before. But basically what we're saying is because update is not being called consistently in the same with the same intervals every time, we need to do something to make sure that all the movement will be smooth. So this is it. Okay, if you don't understand the detail, it's okay. Times time dot delta time. Okay, so this is basically the time that has been that has changed from the last time the update was called. So from the last time handle movement was called. So I expect it to move according to this. Okay, so this basically is moving with speed, and I already see I have here an error. Let's see what it is. So I go to here. First of all, I won't pause it, and I just run it, and let's see what happened. Okay, so it starts from 4 and it's going up. Of course it goes up because our speed is positive, and because we go on the y-axis, it has to be negative to go down. Because we see 4 is up, so every positive value will go up, and we want it to go down. So let's handle it. So we go here, sorry, and we'll do it minus factor. Okay, so we could do it minus equal, but this is better because we add in the speed. Okay, so we're going, this will go down, and let's do another thing. Okay, we do know that we want it to start from above the screen. So we can put it exactly here, but we don't have to. Let's do it here, for example. Okay, so here we can see it's about 6.5, so let's use the 6.5. And you know what, I'll do it also as parameter, so I'll do it like this. And let's do it, let's call it, let's do it here. Okay, so we have private x, private y, let's do, but I want it actually as serial field. So I'll do it again here, serialized field, private float, top, bottom, y. I can use both top and bottom because because the camera is exactly in the middle. Then if I'll use this value for top and bottom, it can be the same value. And I will change it from the Unity itself, from the inspector. So I'll let it update, and I'll change it here to, sorry, this is my cat moving the camera, so 6.5. Okay, and so 6.5, and it will put it on top here, but let's make sure. Okay, so let's go. I actually put here, but let's do it from code. Okay, so when we go to the code, let's start by doing start actually. So y equals a top bottom y. Okay, so now if I'm going back to Unity, okay, and I'm running it, you'll see it go all the way up here and start to go down. And this is really nice, but the problem is, of course, what's happening when it goes below the bottom line of y. So this is the place where we start using ifs. So we want to say that if it goes below, we want it to go back up. So let's do it here. So here we change the y in the position, and you know what, let's do it here. So if y is actually smaller than minus top bottom y, which is actually means that it went below. Okay, it went below the bottom line. You know what, I'll do. Sorry about that. So, if it's smaller than top bottom y, we want it to go to actually the top. Okay, so it equals top bottom y. But here's the thing. Okay, so we said if it's below, go to the top, and okay, just once. Okay, why it doesn't work? Cannot resolve. Because we got a 9 here. Okay, so here's the thing. Some people might do this by mistake. They'll do like equal. Okay, because when it gone to this position, okay, we want it to go all the way up. The thing is, we can't really be sure that we're going exactly to this position, and we can actually assume this is the cat. We can actually assume that it won't go exactly to that position. That's why we use this one, okay, smaller than, and you know what, I might talk about it in another opportunity. Okay, stop moving the camera. Okay, so let's show it. So it's moving down there, and so I'm this is checking if it went below the bottom, and this is putting it back up the same way I did here. So let's see that it works. Okay, and look, and go back up, and this is really nice. Okay, let's now start to use the power of random. Okay, and the power of random, for the power of random, I actually want it to make sure that this box will be inside the left and the right limits. Okay, so let me show you. So I want to make sure that it can be either here or here, right? So how do I do it? So I can put it here for a second. As we've seen before, I can look here and see, okay, x is 2.3 right here. So if x is 2.3, this will be the right, and the left side will be about minus 2.3. Okay, so let's do it. So first let's add here. Okay, so we have top, bottom y, and let's say left. Let's call it just limit x, as I did before. Okay, so limit x. So limit x should be 2.3, and I'll do it from the inspector here. Okay, so it will be 2.3. Okay, and I will actually, because we are moving down, I don't need to see if, at the moment that I don't need to make sure that it doesn't go outside from the side of the screen. What I do need to do is I want it to start at that position. So let's do x equals random dot range, and we'll put okay, minus limits and the limits. Okay, so it will calculate a random value between these two values. And you see here, he doesn't show about random range, what kind of a random range it should be. It's not system.random, I can tell you that. It should be a Unity engine, I think, .random. That's it. Okay, and now he can identify the random.range, and it will put it somewhere in the middle. But you know what, let's do something else. Let's do something here. Okay, so instead of just putting a y in the top, bottom y, let's do it plus random dot range, and let's put it from up. Actually, put a literal value. So let's put 0 and Let's put 2.5. You know what? Let's put limits just for fun. Okay, so this is actually mean that it will be at least the top bottom y plus some random value, and that it can be in either position of x and y. Leave the camera alone. So just a second. Okay, this is the cat. I'm going aside. Okay, so this will be great on the video, very professional. Okay, so we put it random here, but look, we do that in the first step, right? This is done on start on the first frame. What happens when we go out of here? Okay, so we actually want to handle it here. So maybe we would like to do something like this, right? Take all of this code and put it here. But then we say, okay, but when it starts, okay, when the whole thing starts, it wouldn't do it, right? Because this code is not on the start, okay, then it wouldn't perform this this command. So what can we do? Actually, you can do something very simple. I can start with here and just take this square and like put it below, right? If I put it here below and I put it low enough, then it goes inside and go, hey, you're below the bottom limit, right? And put it back up. So now if I run it, okay, it's going up. Let's say it again. Really nice. Okay, and each time it does a bit of a different X. You see? Really nice. Great. So this works great, but the thing is, okay, you know what, I'll leave it like that. I can move it to another function, but this is actually working great. So this is really nice, but let's do another thing. Okay, we can also change the speed. So we can say like, we have like the factor here that equals 4. Okay, so let's change it a bit. I'll rename it. I'll refactor it and call it, okay, so factor max, I'll call it. Okay, and it does all this thing to make sure that it is, that's good. Okay, I don't need all this code, so I'll just go back to Unity. Okay, it has factor max here, so I just remove this. Okay, this is like a protection to make sure that this wouldn't hurt any connection we had with the past. So factor max here, so this will be the maximum, and here what I'll do is, I do need a factor, so I'll put it here. So fact, and let's put factor to the random. Okay, and so fact would be a random, and I'll again put literal values, and I'll put it between 2.5 and 4.5. I'll make both of them float, of course, and like this. So we actually update the factor here, and when we call handle movement, it will have a different speed for everyone. But you see here we have the fact max, and of course we need the fact for the factor. Okay, so let me just run it. And it just stuck there because it is stuck here. Okay, let me see why. Oh, maybe because y is equal 4. Not good for us. Nice. Okay, I thought I'd seen it before, so let's fix it. I thought I've seen, seen the square just in the middle. So let me run like this. And stuck here because I'm not sure. Okay, because y is in the middle. Okay, so I'll stop here and we'll continue and fix this in the next part of this tutorial. Thank you for watching the talents. I'll see you in the next part.